The Brothers of Liberty, here to remind you what true freedom is. Hello, and welcome to the Brothers of Liberty with your older brother Kelton. Today, I'm going to discuss the Declaration of Independence and its significance for today. I'm actually going to take time and read a couple paragraphs from the Declaration of Independence, a little bit something different that I'm doing today, so just bear with me. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitled them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impelled them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariable the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute deposition, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government, and to provide new guards for their future security. So I just read about a paragraph and a half of the Declaration of Independence. Everybody should read it. The reason why I didn't read it all because I want to discuss on a couple of the important points of what I get in this video. It's about a 9 to 11 minute read. Me or my brother may read it entirely as one video because it's definitely something people should know. I encourage you to read it yourself. It should be taught in schools and read in schools. I read it at my middle school when we still had civics classes, where they taught about your rights in U.S. civics before they wanted to start indoctrinating children and want them to think for themselves. So, but my point is here is that a lot of people want to say that people who are standing behind the Declaration of Independence, that is a document over 200 years old. It has no relevance of today. And I'm a big differ because I'm going to show a few words in that document. Yes, the document does list grievances against King George, but they never want to read the first two paragraphs that I read and clearly states. The first off is about our rights, and it clearly states, and I'm going to read it here verbatim again, the sentence, um, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Um, to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. In other words, consent from the people. We give you the right to govern us. You are not there. You're not needed. We gave you the right to protect our rights, not to take away our rights. And the government always want to say, "Oh, we govern you the way we see fit." No, 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 no. It's the other way around. You govern us with how we see fit, because we're the ones that gave you that power. And then in a couple other points about the um, right of the people, um, it says whenever any form of government becomes destructive. So guess what? It's not just talking about dictatorships. It's talking about democracy governments too, because democracies can become tyrannical. As a line in The Patriot with Mel Gibson, why would I trade one tyrant for 3,000 tyrants? So yes, in the Declaration, it says any form of government. So guess what? That's a representative government. That is a dictatorship. That is a monarchy. Doesn't say just a monarchy or just the British government. Um, and after it says that become destructive of these end, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish said government. So yes, that is our right. Not a right that the government takes away from us. It is our right to take it away from the government to govern us and set forth a new one. Another one that goes further down in the paragraph when it talks about that, we suffer and, you know, evils become sufferable and people really don't take a stand. Um, but it also says here that it is the people's right, it is their right and their duty to throw off such government. So it's not only our right, it is our duty to throw off a tyrannical government. The designers of the Declaration, Thomas Jefferson, knew exactly what he was writing when he wrote these words. And it wasn't just for the British government and King George, it was for future generations as well. So these words hold true and very important. A lot of people think that the government gives our rights to us. No, these rights are ours. They've always been ours. And I'll actually go more in depth in the Constitution, not just the Declaration of Independence, because you could do a whole hour of video on the Declaration of Independence with the multiple points it has, but also the Bill of Rights, specifically when I'm talking about the Constitution, I'll go more in depth with that, specifically with the Ninth Amendment, that pretty much states we have rights not written down that we did not tell the government that they can ignore. Pretty much in layman's terms, people want to argue with that, but no, it says we have rights that is not written down, and everybody always forgets that the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is a document not not for us telling us what our rights is, but telling the government what they can and cannot do. And we'll go more in depth in that. I know me and my brother will. You can't have the Brothers of Liberty without discussing how we got our liberty and the historical context and the documents. So, like I said, some people will be offended by this, some people will not. But we think and feel it needs to be said. So, once again, this is the older brother, Kelton, reminding you what freedom truly is.